Fortune cookie wisdom means that I collect fortune cookie messages. And I gather them up, and every once in a while I put them in your hands out there, and I let you tell me what the fortune cookie says, and then I talk about it. So here we go. I don't know what's going to come up. 10 of you have fortune cookie messages. We will not get through all 10, so I'm going to count on your guidance and intuition to decide who tells me what their fortune cookie says. So, 10 of you, who wants to go first? Maggie, why don't you go first?
Sure.
I know somebody who's got one, so...
Let's hope I read it right this time.
Oh gosh, yes, she did it wrong, so let's see.
You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf.
Okay. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Didn't I just tell that story?
Yes.
There were some waves. Do we have waves that come up in our life?
Sure.
Some of them are pretty and gentle, and they sound nice, and others are crashing and rolling, and they come out of seemingly nowhere. And they're tsunamis. There are waves that are small, there are waves that are huge and devastating. Can we control this? Does anybody have a life that is totally wave-free? Archie's not responding, he must. All of us have situations. That's what life is. We have one situation after another. And we can't stop the situations. They're going to come. We don't have control over that. What we do have control over is our reactions to them. Do we ride these out in grace and ease, or do we spend our time kicking and fighting? I think on Thursday we were talking about situations, and I used the same metaphor but in a slightly different way. I was talking about riptides. And if you're in a riptide, anybody who spent any time at the ocean or swimming or at the beach knows that a riptide is a tide that is carrying water out to sea, and if you are swimming and you're caught in one of those, you're being swept out further and further away from the shore. And any good lifeguard will tell you that you do not try to swim against that. You turn the other direction and you swim across it until you're out of it, and then you can come back to shore. This is an incredible spiritual lesson from nature. Don't fight what's going on. Go a different direction. Find your peace, find your place, and then you'll find your way back. Who's got another one? Yes, Sarah.
Calamity is the touchstone of a brave mind.
Oh, calamity is the touchstone of a brave mind. Boy, that's kind of the same. Calamity. I'm not known as Calamity Jane. I'm only known as Lucy. Right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Rick says when I paint, I get paint all over me and I look like Lucy by the time I'm done. But calamity will allow us to see who we really are. A good friend of ours, I've told you this one before, it bears repeating. A good friend of ours used to say, when you squeeze an orange, what do you get? Orange juice. Can you get anything but orange juice from the orange?
No.
No, you can't get strawberry juice or apple juice or grape juice out of an orange, can you? You get orange juice. So there's good news and bad news in this, because it doesn't matter what's inside of you. When you are squeezed, when the calamity hits, when the pressure is on, that's when you get to see where you really are in your spiritual path. Where you really are in your consciousness. When you're squeezed a little bit, the truth comes out. So that's why I said it's good news and it's bad news. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes we think of this as bad news because the microphone thing just fell down my lap. It's hanging around my knee right Nothing I can do without reaching down my pants. Calamity, what do? You laugh. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. and it goes on my knee, and I get to go like this, woo! What do? Here's a silly example in the middle of this. If you can laugh, if you can let go, if you can not panic, it all works out fine. It's all good. Who's got another one? I want something different.
Mine says ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice.
Ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. I thought this was a really deep fortune cookie message. I thought this was a good deep one. So, if you are filled with enthusiasm, which I think there's one out there on enthusiasm, so hold that one for a second. If you're filled with enthusiasm, if you're on fire, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even if you have no clue what you're doing, that's better than having all the knowledge and not doing anything with it. We teach principles from the science of mind. I don't know how many of you spend a lot of time going through this book or even looking at it from time to time, but it is full of magnificent golden nuggets, and I've been spending a lot of time with it lately because I'm going to teach a class starting next month that's going to be just working with the Science of Mind textbook that we use. See, there's the first commercial. I don't have to do that announcement later. I'll have flyers later. But I've been spending a lot of time with it. And we have the information. But the truth is, you can read all the material. You can read every book on every one of these shelves. But another good friend of mine used to say, if you don't do nothing, nothing happens. You can have all the knowledge, but if you don't have that fire, if you don't have that enthusiasm, if you don't do something, you know, yes, our truck situation all worked out in the end, magically and wonderfully. But it's not that we didn't have to do a heck of a lot of footwork. I mean, we spent hours on phone calls and talking to everybody we needed to and doing all the effort that we needed to do and spending time on the internet looking for the new truck and doing all these things. Doing treatment over a lot of this stuff over and over and over again. But if you don't do anything, nothing happens. In anything in our lives. So you have to have the fire a lot more than you have to have the knowledge. If you put them together, you're really golden. But the fire is more important. Who's got another one? Ricky.
Help, I'm being held hostage in a fortune cookie factory.
Help, I'm being held hostage in a fortune cookie factory. No, no, that's not real. He's always wanted to find that fortune in his fortune cookies. Who's got one? Betty.
You can't make someone else's choices. You shouldn't let someone else make yours.
Ooh. You can't make someone else's choices. You shouldn't let someone else make yours. Of course, this is about how many times we call up our friend. I'm thinking about doing this. Should I really do it? I want to do this, but I'm not really sure. What do you think? How many times do you survey your friends? We do it, don't we? Now, I will tell you that women will survey their friends for a different reason than men. I'm sorry. Women process by talking things through. It's just our natural way of doing things. We get on the phone or meet up for coffee, and we sit and we actually process and figure things out for ourselves by talking about it. Men do this far less. Men, do you call your friends when you're trying to decide, do I buy the red truck or the gray one? No. No, they don't. But in anything in life, there's oftentimes we give other people in our lives a lot of power.